I would not be mad if I went to sleep and did not wake up tomorrow, bro. I'm super popular, but I don't have a car. I don't have a house. I don't have internships. I have nothing that you think that a graduate from a good university would have. So that's when I got super depressed. I was throwing parties in school. I was making like 10, 15K a month. I'm 17. I skipped a grade and I graduated, but I messed it all up like because I was young.
Like, how did you go from that mentality to this growth mentality?
At any given time, there was probably 6 or 7 people living in the house. I'm sleeping on the floor. I go in the living room, there's 3, 4 people on the floor, 2 people sleeping in the bed. Bro, this is not what my life's supposed to be like, bro. And then I just remember Googling and I was like, what do CEOs do?
Welcome to ClickFunnels Radio, the podcast that brings you the latest strategies, insights, and success stories from online marketers just like you who utilize funnels to grow their business. Our mission is simple: to help you unleash the true potential of your online business by harnessing the power of funnels. Join us every week as we bring you exclusive interviews and thought-provoking discussions that will revolutionize the way you approach online marketing.
All right, everybody, welcome back to ClickFunnels Radio. Ben Harris here with episode 702. That is quite a few, and I didn't even mean to rhyme there, but I'm here today with the co-host, Mr. Chris Cameron. Chris, what's up, man?
What's up, Ben? Good to be here, buddy.
Awesome. And we have an incredibly special guest. Absolutely honored to have Justin here. But before we introduce him, as a quick backstory, who at this point in his career is a serial entrepreneur and has completely mastered the ability to not only sell physical products online, but to build a brand and a mission behind it that carries so much weight. And I think definitely one thing I want to hit on too, but something that I'm really excited to learn more about and share with our audience. But let's all put our hands together for Mr. Justin Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have gotten the sound effects, man. If I had my Ecamm live, I'd have done like the DJ air horn.
Yeah. Justin, how are you, man?
I'm doing absolutely good now that I'm here with you guys, man. It's a pleasure, genuinely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're definitely pumped to have you. And it's a little interesting for our ClickFunnels audience in the ClickFunnels world. People in the e-commerce game is not as common as you would think. Especially with ClickFunnels 2.0, we are shifting the narrative and kind of changing the game there a little bit. But as you look at our company's history, it has been extremely popular with a lot of info products, agencies, coaches, etc. But I'm very excited to learn about, just having you create that intimate experience of buying a product online and then having that unboxing time, right? Something you can't replicate anywhere else. But if you wouldn't mind, for the people that live under a rock and don't know who you are, give us a bio.
Yeah, so name's Justin Phillips, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Went to school out in Washington, D.C. at Howard University, graduated from there, and started a company in our dorm room as an idea. We saw there was some stuff in the Howard University bookstore that we thought was pretty lame, and we thought that we can make some stuff that was cooler than that. And we did so, and we took an idea in our dorm room called Support Black Colleges, and we started selling merchandise that we thought was cool. We took that from an idea to about $10 million in sales, being inside of like Urban Outfitters and all of these big box retailers, Macy's, etc. I then sold my part of the business, and then I said, I'm bored. I need to start teaching people how to do what we did for free. And I just started giving out a ton of free information, gained about 1 million followers in less than a year, just giving out free information.
Yeah, dude, you're blowing up all over IG and TikTok,
right,
man.
It's been crazy. And after giving that information out, people are like, I want to pay you. And I was like, all right, well, where do you do that at? And then you guys, and then started to a coaching and consulting business, which we take into right under $10 million in sales as well. And I'll be walking the stage this year and grabbing my 10X award. So
let's go.
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
And I heard rumors of this, but this story too, and I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, is fascinating, man. So this brand, Support Black Colleges, right? How did you get into the NBA on this? Because you guys did like merch and stuff for like the All-Star games, and you were on NBA 2K. Like, give us that backstory, man. That's crazy.
Okay. So how that happened was we saw Chris Paul wearing a bunch of like HBCU centered stuff because he's from North Carolina, but he wasn't wearing any of our stuff. So I was like, we need to like figure something out there. So I thought reaching out to the influencers was like an obvious thing to do, but then they never responded. So then I was like, I wonder who's like influencing these influencers to make these decisions, because
Hold on, can I dive into that for a second?
Please.
For people who didn't catch that, I think this is a huge point. Like so many of us will want to like, oh, I'm going to get this person to do, I'm going to DM them, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes you just get no responses. Like you put out this huge net. So this idea of going after those who influence the influencers, keep going. But I just want to like dive into that a little bit too, and just make that point that this is probably a huge key point.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And I call it indirect influencer marketing, because you're going like indirect from the actual influencer. And then also whenever I talk about influencers in general, I'm like, this is a numbers game. You like, talk to me about it not working after you've reached out to like 5,000 people, because we reached out to 14 people every hour on the hour for many months until we were able to get somebody to respond. But so then after that didn't happen, we were like, man, let's start reaching out to people that are influencing these influencers, people like stylists, YouTube editors, graphic designers, etc. And they have a lot smaller following. So we would just reach out to them and then provide value. So for a stylist, we would say, hey, I know that you have multiple clients. We have this item that it's like blowing up, super popular. And we think that that would help you look good to all of your clients if you provided them something that the market.
This is a ninja hack, man. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would always be like, yeah, just send us stuff. So I sent stuff to Chris Paul's stylist, and then she gave it to Chris Paul. And then I kind of used like I call it the heartstrings kind of hack. And then I just said, hey, we're like a small family owned business. Everything that we make, we pour back into the business. Is actually a really big risk for us to like give merchandise to anybody. So if you could do us a favor and just post us and tag us, that would be a game changer for us. And then the next day, Chris Paul posted us, tagged us. We made like 30K with 24 hours. And then from there, we started to build a relationship with them. So after that, I got a picture of Chris Paul wearing my stuff. I hit up all the other NBA players and I was like, bro, Chris Paul supports us. Like, where are you at, bro? Like, and then that started to the trickle effect. And then once we got a group of influencers that were wearing our stuff that were NBA players, I reached out to the owner of NBA 2K. And I was like, dude, all the NBA players are like wearing our stuff. Like, why are we not in the game? He didn't respond. But then I went to everyone that he was following and I looked at everyone that had NBA 2K in their bio because I assumed that they worked there. And then I messaged it the same thing to everyone else. And then out of 10 people, 2 responded. And then one was like, hey, I don't know the guy. I'm not the guy, but I know the guy. And then we had a conversation the next day. And then after that, we were in the game the day after. So
like 24-hour turnaround.
It was crazy. It was so fast. And the last piece of that, to talk about like the actual relationship with the NBA, we had that relationship with Chris Paul. And then we were like, dude, what's wrong with like, you know, is there anything wrong in the business that you need help with? We're good at social media. We're good at X, Y, and Z. And they were like, dude, we could really use some help with content. Chris Paul wants to take his personal brand a little more serious. And then we took our graphic designer and like put him on Chris Paul's business and was like, bro, just create for him. We're good. We'll figure it out. So he starts making content for them. And then we started to become like ingrained in his business. And he's like, dude, I got to do something for you guys. I'm the president of the Player Association. Make some merchandise for us. We did that, crushed that job. And then after they were like, dude, we got to introduce you to the NBA. This year's event is going to be HBCU centered. And then we made all the merchandise for player gifting, all of the merchandise for the actual game, et cetera. And then that was how we took it from like reaching out to Chris Paul's stylist to actually making merchandise for the NBA.
The dude that knows the dude, like that's the writer downer right there. Is so many times you have to contact the person who knows the person, and then this go-giver mentality. Yeah. Like how many times too, like Justin, have you done something for somebody, not expecting something in return, and it turns to something?
Yeah, that's always the mentality. It's like, bro, my thing is like there's laws of the universe, bro. It's like no hard work goes unnoticed. So if I give, then it's gonna come back sooner or later. Just don't know when. And I frankly don't care.
Yeah, man.
I love that. And even so back as you are starting your first clothing brand, or I guess I presume was it your first clothing brand, or did you have any failures before that?
Oh man, I can't even count the things that I failed at. I used to make beats. I used to like do music a little bit. I used to have a different brand before then, affiliate marketing, bro. I tried it all.
And what do you felt like some of the key learnings that led you to, I guess, doing things, I don't say the right way, but it obviously works. So let's just call it that. Would you say there were some key failures that led you to the point where, all right, I'm now 10x smarter than I used to be. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice because I learned from them. Did anything like that occur?
For sure. I think it was really just understanding the stacking of skills, because I would like have all these different failures, but then I gained specific skills. And then I think after that, it was just like not giving up on one particular thing, because it was like I would realize my pattern where I'm like, oh, affiliate marketing. And then I try it and then I'm not successful. And then I like give up. And then I'm like, oh, like, whatever. And I'm just trying all of these different things. And then one day I was just like, bro, I'm going to give this a go. And then I'm just not going to stop until it works. Like
you mentioned giving it a try. Okay. And both Ben and I, when you said we're reaching out on the hour, like 14 people, like for days on end, I'll talk to entrepreneurs all over the place. Like Ben and I have traveled all over and everybody's like, oh, I tried this, I tried that, but really trying.
Yeah.
Like, and if something doesn't work without good, solid effort, pivoting and moving into something different, is a totally different story than, oh, I just tried that. So, when you've tried these other ones, is there a time where you're like, oh, wait, man, I didn't really try? And then you started reaching out 14 people on the hour?
Yeah, for sure. Because what I started to realize is that my try was like very different from like the real entrepreneur's try, So, and I hear stories like even Hormozy talks about it a lot, where it's like, yo, I put out flyers, I tried, and then you put out 500, but we actually, to make a dent, you got to put out 5,000. And then when I started to have that mindset shift of, okay, I said that I tried, but I really only reached out to 100 people. How many people do I have to reach out to where it would be very unlikely that I wouldn't get one response? And then that number was like 1,000. So I'm just like, all right, let me reach out to 1,000. And then you start to run into people like you get one person out of 1,000, but the one person is Chris Paul, then it changes everything. So
or it's the dude that knows the dude.
It doesn't matter. But the big thing there was I had to realize, like, how do I want to explain this? Like, when you're reaching out to that many people, it's inevitable that something is going to happen in a certain time period. So I just had to like figure out what the actual thing was, which was reaching out to people, and then say, I'm going to reach out, because if I argued with myself and I'm like, what's more important? Should I learn paid ads? Should I learn X, Y, and Z? And I was like, bro, I can reach out to people for free for a long period of time. And if I get one person that makes me $30,000 in 2 days, that's just as lucrative as a skill set than learning paid ads, which costs money and things of that nature for me to do.
That's wild. And upon that, would you say that was the skill that you focused on? And I mean, that question to make a whole lot of sense. Let me unpack it. One thing that Russell's taught about, and it's sort of top of mind for me because I heard this in an interview this morning, was, it's not who, or it's, oh my gosh, I'm messing this up.
Who, not the how. It's the Ben
Who,
Hardy,
not
right?
the how,
Yeah.
right? It's not really learning what to do. It's finding the right people in place and, putting everyone on the right seat on your bus. Right. Would you feel like that's a skill that you had learned that with Support Black Colleges was an absolute like turnkey deal if you knew exactly how to execute on it?
Not really, honestly, because I think as I started to grow with business acumen, it became that, because we would always hire like bottom up, like VAs and like, et cetera. Then I'm just like, okay, once we got to a certain level of revenue, it's like, I need to hire top down. But before it was more so like, how can I get very good at the how in general to be able to make enough revenue to then think, okay, let's hire the who, because I didn't have it in the beginning,
Yeah. When you first started too, is this something you went out on your own and like, I'm just going to get scrappy, I'm going to figure this out? Or did you enlist help, hire coaches, et cetera, along the way? Like, how did you get started?
Yeah, so getting started, it's actually funny because the business started in 2012 when my business partner and his cousin started it. I didn't come around until 2018 when was that? Yeah, around 2018, we started taking it seriously, but it was already a business doing like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. And then I went and graduated college. I got a job and I was doing paid advertising for like a Amazon FBA business startup company. And then over time, I started to invest in like courses and whatnot, because I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 people, or 5, including myself. And I was saving probably like $3,500 a month. My salary was $4K a month. And then I'm like, bro, I'm doing this for them. Like, there's got to be a way for me to do it for myself. So I just started to invest in courses, Tai Lopez, Adrian Morrison, etc.
Yeah.
Then I got that skill set, and then my boy hit me up and was like, yo, bro, we've been doing this sport by college thing. I think it's a good idea. Like, can you put this skill set that you've been learning towards it? And I was like, I mean, if we try our hardest, maybe we can make like 100K, bro, like maybe. And then took the skill sets from the job, doing the job, and then also from spending my money that I was saving from living super modest, and then took those skill sets to the brand. And then that's what kind of took it away.
Dude, take us back to that. That's fascinating. Like, we were having an interview earlier today, and like, I want to dive into this a little bit more too. Like, you're in this moment, you are living in a 1-bedroom apartment, 5 total people, making $4,000 a month, and you are deciding to set aside everything but $500. You live off $500. Take us to that point. Like, were you depressed? Were you like, I am determined to do whatever it takes to survive? Like, how did you go from that mentality to this growth mentality? Like, what was it like?
It was interesting because, so I had my own spot. I actually graduated college and I was throwing parties in school. I was making like 10, 15K a month. I'm 17. I skipped a grade and I graduated, but I messed it all up like, cause I was young, and then I graduated and I don't have any money, but I'm super popular. I don't have a car. I don't have a house. I don't have internships. I have nothing that you think that a graduate from a good university would have. So that's when I got super depressed. Bro, I remember one day I'm sleeping over at my homeboy's house. And then I just told him before I went to sleep, I was like, bro, I would not be mad if I went to sleep and did not wake up tomorrow, bro. Like it was very much so that. And then I was like, bro, the only way I can like not think about this is to work. And then I got up and I moved back home with my mom. Couldn't handle her telling me what to do all the time and stuff because how moms are. So I applied for some jobs, got one, and that was the one that was paying me $4,000 a month. Immediately got my own apartment, and then I got a knock on my door one day, and it's my cousins, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we got a lot of like negative stuff going on at our home. Is it okay if we come live with you?" And I'm like, "Bro, your family, whatever." So they come live with me. It's 4 of them. And then I have other friends that are kind of just in and out, like just helping them out. So at any given time, there was probably 6 or 7 people living in the house. I'm sleeping on the floor. Go in the living room. There's 3, 4 people on the floor, 2 people sleeping in the bed. And we're just trying to get after it, bro. So we're splitting the rent up. I remember the rent was $700. We're splitting it 3 ways. And a couple people are living for free. And then I remember one day I walked into the house and I was like, man, I got off of work and I got back home and there's 4 people like sleeping on the floor. When I walked in, I was like, bro, this is not what my life's supposed to be like, bro. And then I just remember Googling and I was like, what do CEOs do?
Hey, while you're enjoying this, I want you to check out something else we've been working on real quick.
Why don't you let me invest?
No.
5%.
Nope.
6%, that's my final offer.
No.
Oh, you want to play possum on me? How about 8%?
What?
Take 1 marker.
Sign up for the first Funnel Way Challenge today and learn how to launch your business without any investors. You're supposed to go down in equity, not up.
Whatever, 9%.
And I remember it saying, CEOs read books. And I was like, okay. So then I'm actually like on Instagram clicking and I see a story and there's a book on it called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. I guess the influencer had posted it. So I'm like, you know what? Like the average person reads 1 book a year. The average CEO reads a book a week. I can start there. This book's $9. So I read that book and it talks a lot about environment. And it's like, you got to be around the right people. And that's digital environment and your physical environment, et cetera. So I pulled all of my boys to the side that was living with me. And I said, guys, I'm going somewhere, bro. Like, I don't know where, but like in a month, if y'all aren't on the same page as me, waking up early, going on walks, meditating, reading books, et cetera, I'm going to leave and y'all can have this place, bro. Or all of y'all have to go. And then I remember it was crazy because a couple of days later, they pulled me to the side and they were like, Justin, like, you are meant to be a really good person, like to go far. We're holding you back. We wouldn't even be mad if you left us. And then I actually moved to Atlanta that time. Wow. And on the way there, it was crazy, bro, because it was Wednesday. So I was listening to Bible study. And the pastor's like, if you're thinking about traveling, just do it. If you're thinking about going to a different place, just do it. God can't pull you to the other side if you don't meet him in the middle. And then I'm just like, all right. So now I'm driving and then I get there and then I'm just like, man, I got to do something. And then my boy's like, let's just do this business together. And then that's when we started. So very long-winded answer to show you how I got from a job to starting the company, and hopefully that was good.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Dude, that's incredible.
I think it's hard too, because a lot of times people think, oh man, I'm leaving my friends and my loved ones behind. But I think what you did in this situation is to have that critical conversation and just say, hey, here's what we're dealing with. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm going. And I would love for you to come along.
Yep.
But sometimes you just have to move. You just have to move. I think this is so cool too, because if a lot of times I find that entrepreneurs, and you've seen this, Ben, like crazy too, how many people pop up and they are an expert. All right. They're an expert, and that's okay. I'm not ripping on that. Most people start as an expert, but you're going out and teaching people how to do e-com because you know how to do e-com and you've got the track record to prove it. And that's a little bit of difference there, right? Like, I mean, you're worth that because you can say, hey, look what we've done. Talk to me about, if you ever felt imposter syndrome, or if somebody is not really an expert, like what can they do to get to that expert level to teach people and to coach people on something in particular?
Yeah. So my thing is this. A lot of people think that it has to be something that is extraordinary in the monetary sense. So they think if I have not made money, then I cannot teach people something, typically is what I hear. So I just tell people, bro, you just have to do something that is extraordinary to somebody. And for instance, I have a friend, she's a single mother of 4 kids, and she raised 4 children herself and then also started a business. She got her business funded and then she started it. And I was just like, Ellie, like that is extraordinary. And it's like, I can't even think about having children and like none of this stuff. So even if you just show moms how to even get their business funded, you can do that and you can teach people that because you're at step B. You're not at step Z, but you can get them from A to B. And that's extraordinary what you've been able to do. So I think one of 2 things. Number one, either do something that's extraordinary to somebody in general, and then only teach that thing and never outstep something that you haven't actually done, or go do something that is extraordinary to yourself and then stay locked in on that thing long enough to get some sizable results that you feel confident to teach people to get to what you've been able to do. And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Nail on the head. This is like, this needs to be its own like book of Proverbs or something. Justin, with, and expanding upon that, right, doing something that's extraordinary to somebody, I've seen, and maybe even I speak selfishly because I know I've made this mistake myself numerous of times, do physical product sales and e-commerce with monetary in mind, right? Doing it to make money, and there's really no brand or message attached to the business. Your business did not make that mistake by any means. Can you sort of expand on that, and maybe if there's any kind of mindset shift or what you did intentionally to make your company just stand for something? I find that awesome.
Yeah. The way that I looked at it was, I get a lot of questions like, oh, how do I find my customer avatar, my target audience, like things of that nature? And I never really knew what that meant in the beginning. And then I was just like, bro, I was the audience because I was like, I'm at this school. I don't like this merchandise and I want it to be good. And I thought like, who are the people that we're impacting? And I was like, we're impacting Black colleges. And then I'm like, what do we aim to do for them? I was like, we want to support them. And that was the big aha moment. And then, but a lot of this stuff, I'll be honest with you, it's just, a lot of it was skill, but a lot of it was luck too. I didn't know no one in my family went to college. So when I chose the college I went to, it's because I was getting my hair cut and my barber said, what college you get accepted to? And I told him 3 and he was like, go to the one that's not in Texas. And I was like, okay. And
and that's how that happened.
That's how that happened. Then you have
crazy
that you can't control, unfortunate happenings with like George Floyd and all of these things that are rallying people around these different concepts. So I think that a part of it was skill to know that, hey, I'm the target audience and we need to solve this problem because I'm not the only one with this problem. And a part of it was luck because, a lot of these things I couldn't control. And I'm self-aware enough to understand that.
Did you realize how genius, like making the actual purpose is the brand? I mean, think of that. Support Black colleges is the brand and the purpose is the brand. Like, did you realize the genius of that at the time, that it was such a dual purpose?
Bro, not even close. We just wanted to make cool stuff, bro. I'd had no clue.
Oh, it's genius idea. Seriously, if you unpack that.
And you mentioned at one point, you exited the business. What led you to that decision? What was that like?
Yeah. So, this could be a good conversation just around partnership and whatnot. But essentially what happened was, man, been through so much pain, bro. Oh man. You know how it is with business. So basically what happened was we came out the gate crushing it, absolutely crushing it. A lot of things were falling in place. We learned a lot of skills. And I remember one day looking in a bank account and I was like 1.1 million liquid. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then by 6 months, squandered it all. And I was just like, I got in the shower that day and I'm taking a shower and I'm sitting down because I'm too weak to stand up because it's just like, bro, what am I gonna do? I have to tell everybody tomorrow that this thing is over. And I asked myself, I'm like, who are you without money? Who are you without a business? Who are you without status? And I realized that, I had a lot of character traits that I needed to work on, but I also had a lot of character traits that were really good. And what I realized was it was more important about the character traits, relationships, and skill sets that I had. And I could always start a new business and do so and build it up to what we had done. But I just did not have the character trait of managing money properly. So the next day happens and I go out and find a loan, like 100K. And then we build the business back up to where it once was by me finding like a bad, like terrible, like rapid finance, cash advance type situation. But then that made me be forced to really take care of the money. So we then get to a place of back in, good graces with our finances, et cetera. Then we find a way to not do that. And then we lose it all again. And I'm just like, bro, this is not impossible. This, like, I don't understand what's going on. So then, but I'm seeing things happen and I'm like talking to my partner and I'm like, bro, we need to change the vision for the business. Like, we don't have the right character traits. We don't have the right vision. We don't have the right, values, and we're not on the same page. So when I realized that me and my partner didn't have the same vision, values, or like idea that we wanted to like do this, like our day-to-day lifestyle, I was like, this isn't going to work no matter how great of an idea this is. So I kind of just had to step back and say, do I want to repeat the same thing again? And this was a tough one for me because it's so much emotional equity, sweat equity, et cetera, put into the business at this time. And I was just like, I don't see it going to that next level with the current vision. And I had to pull myself out and just say, hey, not going to be able to do this ride with you. But the thing is that most people have their identity attached to the business. Sure. Because I had made it all and then lost it. I found my identity in my character traits, my skill sets, and who I was as a person, not the success and status of the company and the brand and et cetera. So I was able to walk away from it unemotionally. And then I told myself, you did it once, you could do it again. And then I, took what I got from, leaving the company, and then I started my personal brand, and then did the exact same numbers within less time frame because I had the skills and the vision and the character traits to do it. And
yeah, like sometimes that experience and that failure is what qualifies you for success.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you think you would have been able to build this personal brand without the experiences that you had?
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
One of my really close friends just exited, or he bought out his partner really around that same vision. So I want to commend you on sort of, one conversation they had was, why did we get into business in the first place, right? Was to create our dream lifestyle. And they kept trying to do different things that was putting that at jeopardy. And then to take the step back of like, where am I really at? Where am I trying to accomplish? Can this brand get it there? But even a question I'm sure someone has, and if you don't mind me asking, we can even cut this if because I know it's kind of personal. You mentioned financing, kind of managing cash flow a little bit differently. Are there any key mistakes you think people could learn from of something that may have happened, in particular, a story of mismanaging money?
Oh my goodness, I was the worst. I would love to help people out with this one. So we were the type where we thought that more people solve problems. So, for instance, Black Friday happens. We do $1 million in like 30 days, maybe even less. And we're like, yo, we need to hire more people. And this was something that me and my partner had in difference. He was like, yo, we need to hire a bunch more people. And I was like, no, we need to optimize the people that we have, because if we hire more, they're going to need to be trained, et cetera, et cetera. But I ended up getting like outvoted or whatever. And then we hired a ton of people. So we hired like 30 people in like maybe like a couple days, and crazy, just like seasonal people, yo, come help us with Black Friday, whatever. Because we got like 15,000 orders. So I just remember walking into the warehouse one day and I'm just like, bro, it's people everywhere, bro. We went from like 3 employees to 30, like so fast. And then afterwards, that was the time when I'm looking at the money. And then afterwards, I'm realizing there's nothing there in a couple of months. And I had to take everybody to the back of the warehouse one day, the day before I was in the shower. And I said, hey guys, hey, everybody, team meeting, everyone, 30 something people back there. And I'm like, hey guys, we don't have any money anymore. So if you're staying here, it's because you believe in us, you believe in the vision of the company. We do not have any money to pay you. And I would not blame you if you walked out the door right now, because we will not be able to pay you. And everyone left except for me, my business partner, and his blood sister. So we went from 30 something employees to 3 people in less than 7 days. So
whoa, that's pain right there.
One big lesson I learned is that, it's almost better in certain cases to optimize the people that you have, because right after that, we still had to get the orders out, still 15,000 orders. So we took me, my business partner, and one other person, and we convinced like his sister, and we convinced like 1 or 2 people to come and help us out. And we got all of those orders out in like a relatively quick time period just by optimizing what we already had. So not thinking that you need to throw money at a lot of stuff to solve the problems. And then I'd say the other thing is, what really helped us once we got the finances back, we put some of it to the side, and we realized that we were paying so many different people that weren't contributing to getting orders out and then marketing. So it was like we pretty much cut everybody except for people who make us money and people who satisfy the customer. So that helped out a ton. And then I'd say lastly was we got an overseas bookkeeper, because we were paying so much money in like accountants and things of that nature just to do menial tasks like reconciling the books. So we got overseas bookkeeper to reconcile the books, and then an actual stateside accountant to like do our taxes and filings and whatnot. And that saved us thousands of dollars when we really needed at a pivotal time. Little stuff like that.
Man, you need to write a book. Like, I hope you're like logging all of this stuff, because like all these little stories in it building up to where you are right now. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brothers.
You writing a book yet?
Not yet, but I'm
all right, get started.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to buy it.
We know a guy that can help you. He's written a couple. Yeah. And so you mentioned, after the exit, you have started on your personal brand and then teaching and educating a lot with it.
Yes.
What's been the best part of that thus far? Now, how far are you in on that? A couple of years? I don't get my time frame right.
I have to make 3 years in July. Okay.
Awesome. So yeah, what's in 3 years, what stuck out to you and what's been, I guess, most impactful for you?
I enjoy generally just like helping as many people as possible. So like the way I looked at it and the way I feel like I stayed in the game was whenever I was like making content and going live and things of that nature, and it was like 10 people in there, I would always envision like, bro, if 10 people walked into your house right now and you had to present in front of them, you would take this more seriously than just 10 like ghost people on Instagram Live. So I always was of the mindset of like, bro, even if you're helping 100 people, 50 people, you would be like foaming at the bits if 100 people walked into your house right now. So I think that that's been the most fun for me, has been able to keep people away from pain that I went through. Because I just love whenever I get on a call or like a Zoom or something, and then someone's like, bro, I'm thinking about like, doing print on demand for my e-commerce business. And I'm like, why? And I was like, well, I see a lot of people like doing it and stuff like that. And then I'm like, bro, that's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was I tried to build a life around a business rather than building a business around my life. And what I ended up doing was building a life around my business. And I hated my life because the business model didn't fit who I was as an entrepreneur and who I wanted to be as a person. So I challenged them and say, hey, well, have you looked at all the different options and what are your skill sets and your talents and which business model fits with that? Because I want you to enjoy your life and not build a business, resent it, and then be mad at yourself because you built something that you now hate, and you don't want to hate your baby. So even saving someone from all of the pain like that by just one conversation that takes 20 seconds is just super fulfilling.
That's massive. As you built this brand, like we kind of alluded to this for a minute, this following you're getting on like TikTok and Instagram is crazy. Like I was looking, it's like 900,000 or something like that on IG. Like it's crazy. Are there certain tips or tricks like for people to build that size of an audience in a short amount of time? Like what would be your top tips?
So top tips, number one is I genuinely, it's crazy. I literally would like look at my course and then like put that information to my free content, like just giving out all of my best stuff for free. But then also on top of it, I want to give some tactical for the people that are listening as well, because you hear that all the time. So one thing that really moved the needle was we used a software called ManyChat, and it would respond to all of our comments. So any keywords that people send, it would respond to the comments immediately, and then it would send them whatever resource. And doing it in that way with a call to action at the end of our like content made Instagram think that the content was going viral because so many people were commenting a specific word and then we were commenting right back, which was doubling the effect of, because if I say, hey, the secret supplier for Nike is X, Y, and Z person, comment Nike and I'll send you the website to your DMs. And then I say, they make this, they make that, they make that. And if you're a brand owner that wants to start or scale, comment brand. So now I have two calls to action within one video. One is value, one's an actual call to action, but they're doing both of them. So I'm doubling the amount of content comments.
Dude,
and
this is
commenting back to all of them. So all of the posts are like forced virality, essentially. So that was big. And then also
super smart.
Amplifying the content as well. So I would take all of my best performing organic content and then go to pages like Wealth, Millionaire Mentor, etc. And then I didn't have a lot of money like at first. So I called it like a conveyor belt. So I would post a bunch of stuff on my own page. Something pops out as getting more views. I take whatever got the most views and put it on the cheapest shout out page as possible, and then see if it did well there. If it did well on that one, I'd graduate it to the next one. So my dollar was being best spent, and I'd take it from like a $100 shout out page all the way up to like a $7,500 shout out page. So amplifying with ManyChat, then taking that organic content and amplifying it with shout out pages, and then starting to put ads behind like our webinars and etc., which obviously helps our growth too.
Massive tips. That's
nuts. Awesome. I know. If anyone did anything because they want to grow their following on Instagram, just that could completely change the trajectory of their business and life. Just that right there is even something we need to do, right? On our Instagrams for ClickFunnels. We need to like having people
take care of that,
commenting
Ben?
and doing that.
We're
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that.
we're on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Gosh, there's so much we could unpack here. Do you have anything more you want to go, Chris? Anything
listen, one thing I always want to do too is, especially as we start to wrap up episodes, I want to give you a big shout out. Like if somebody wants to find out more about you, like, do you want them? What's the best place for them to go? You got a URL, a call to action, or just follow you on Instagram? Where should they go?
Yeah, Instagram's cool. Instagram at Justin P.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's awesome. What's next for you? What's coming up?
So right now we are, and I think it's only proper that I give you guys a shout out too before we get out of here as well. Because, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done without, reading the books, using ClickFunnels, etc. So what's next is we have a course and a coaching program. We want to have like a mastermind, like in person, like you guys do as well. And then from there, we're building a monthly recurring revenue model, which you guys suggest as well.
Linchpin, baby.
In and out. And
I love it.
Then from there, our goal is to take our high ticket students, and once they get to an investable level, start to trade our expertise for equity. And then from there, going into seeing all of the different problems that are occurring in the monthly recurring revenue of people trying to get from 0 to 10K, and then creating software around the issues that our clients are having. So. And then from there, hopefully we get a big exit one of these days. And then me and Ben are going to go drink alcohol in Atlanta somewhere.
I'll drive you guys. I'll be the designated driver. You guys can drink it out.
If I were a betting man, I'd cash all my chips in on that. And I definitely look forward to following your continued success with that program. And yeah, I can't wait to be involved as well. Live events, anything. Definitely would love to support and help anything there.
Yeah, if you were a stock, I'd buy you.
I love it. And we got some good stuff coming up on the e-com side with you guys as well. So we're gonna keep nurturing that relationship. So someone stamp this in time, and then in the future we'll see where this goes on the e-com side with you guys.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up episode on it and be like, you predicted it right then, people.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Well, Justin, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's a true pleasure and an honor, and it's awesome to always talk to you.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. See ya.